I think the Mega Evolution era will be the best modern era in Pokemon. I think it's going to be better than XY, better than Sun and Moon, better than Sword and Shield, and better than Scarlet and Violet. Now, this might be a hot take for you guys. You know, a lot of you might say, well, Scarlet and Violet is the best era we've seen, right? Sun and Moon, XY, those were amazing eras. But recently, we got a leak of some of the names for the sets in Mega Evolution, and this is going to change everything if these names are actually true. So in this video, I'm going to do three things. I'm going to first speculate what each of these sets is going to include, right? What Pokemon is going to be included in each of these sets. I'm going to give you guys reasons why I think that this era will be better than Scarlet and Violet. And last but not least, I will tell you guys what I am currently planning to do for this era, right? How am I going to invest in the Mega Evolution era? So first and foremost, let's take a look at the two sets that we already know of, and we already know the cards in both of these sets. That's going to be Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames, right? With Mega Evolution, this has already been released. It's turning out to be a very popular set. Booster boxes are now sky high. I think they're around $350, and we have some very valuable cards in this set, right? We have these new gold cards that are seeming to be very, very hard to pull, right? I think it's around a 1 in 1,000 pull rate. So one of the hardest modern cards to pull that we've had so far, right? This is on par with the monochrome rares from Black and White. But then we also have some really good special illustration rares. We have this Mega Gardevoir, which I really, really like. We have the Mega Lucario with the action scene, and then we have cards like the Mega Venusaur and the Mega Latios. So there are some very good cards in Mega Evolution. This is definitely a very, very solid set. If this came out in the Scarlet and Violet era, it would already be easily a top 3 main set. I would argue it's probably neck and neck with Destined Rivals. I would say it's probably worse than Destined Rivals just because Destined Rivals has that Team Rocket branding, but it's close, right? It's definitely comparable. It definitely puts up a fight. Going into the next set, which is Phantasmal Flames, we've already seen the cards from this set, right? We have the Mega Charizard EX. This is probably one of the best Charizard artworks, if not the best Charizard artwork we've ever gotten. And I think this card is going to carry Phantasmal Flames on its back because the rest of the cards aren't that amazing, right? The next best Mega Evolution is going to be the Sharpedo. So I really think that Charizard is going to carry Phantasmal Flames on its back, and I think it will, right? I think it can. I think this card right here is going to be over $400 pretty easily. And overall, the first two sets for the Mega Evolution era, Mega Evolution base set and Phantasmal Flames, are both very, very solid sets, right? I would say both of these are probably A-tier sets. They're both very solid. If either of these was released in the Scarlet and Violet era, they would instantly be top 3 sets of the era. Now here's my hot take. I think that Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames are going to be the 2 worst sets of the Mega Evolution era, right? You heard that right. I think all these sets after Phantasmal Flames and Mega Evolution, so all of these sets, I think are going to end up being better than Mega Evolution base set and Phantasmal Flames. So first of these unreleased sets that we're going to speculate on is going to be called Legendary Dreams. Now we don't know too much about this set yet, but we do have the Japanese version called Mega Dream EX. This is releasing in November 28th of 2025, and this is going to feature Mega Dragonite EX. So we already know there's going to be a Mega Dragonite, and this is a holiday set. And if you guys are familiar with holiday sets, they tend to stack these holiday sets with lots and lots of really great cards. So we're going to expect a Mega Dragonite, probably an SIR as well. And then we're also going to have a Mega Gengar most likely because they are basically taking the Mega Gengar from Phantasmal Flames, which is not going to have an SIR. It's going to have probably a regular Mega Gengar, but not the SIR. And that SIR is speculated to go into the Legendary Dreams set. So Legendary Dreams is going to have both a Mega Dragonite and a Mega Gengar special illustration rare, along with probably a plethora of other really great cards. So that alone, in my opinion, already puts it above Phantasmal Flames and Mega Evolution base sets. And once again, if Legendary Dreams was released in the Scarlet and Violet era, it would probably easily be a top 3, top 2 set of the era. And now let's go into the next set that was leaked, and that's going to be called Shadow Storm. Now, Shadow Storm, we can speculate that this is probably going to be a Lugia set, right? Usually Lugia is associated with Storm, and we could even see maybe a Shadow Lugia, right? So this Shadow Lugia, this is actually a promo that came out in 2005. If we get this card, that would be absolutely amazing, but we can definitely expect a Lugia SIR, as well as potentially a Greninja, and a Zoroark SIR. Now after Shadow Storm, we go into Emerald Surge. Now this is the Mega Rayquaza set that everyone has been hyping up, that everyone's been talking about. In Japanese, this is going to be Storm Emeralda. So the English version, we don't know exactly what the name is, but it's speculated to be Emerald Surge. Now this is going to have Rayquaza. Most likely, it might have both the shiny Rayquaza as well as the regular Rayquaza, or just one, right? Either way, it's a Rayquaza set. Rayquaza sets always do well. Just look at the XY era, right? We have Ancient Origins, which had the shiny Rayquaza, and Roaring Skies that had the Mega Rayquaza, and both of these are extremely expensive. I think this Roaring Skies Mega Rayquaza in a PSA 10 is like 15k or something, right? Absolutely insane. And it could also see other flying dragon cards, maybe something like a Mega Altaria. Definitely Emerald Surge is going to be a top set of the era, and if this came out in Scarlet and Violet, it would once again easily be a top 3, maybe even top 2 set of the era. If the names for all of these sets is true, right, then all of these sets are going to have popular Pokemon in them. We already know that Legendary Dreams is going to have popular Pokemon. We know that Shadow Storm very likely is going to be a Lugia set. There's no other Pokemon that kind of resonates with Storm than Lugia. And then Emerald Surge, we already know is Rayquaza. Scarlet and Violet did not have too many of these special illustration rare popular Pokemon cards, right? We had obviously the Mewtwo, we have a Pikachu, we had a Mew, and then we had a few Charizards, but we never had a Rayquaza, we never had a Lugia, right? We never had a Dragonite, we never had a Gengar. We were missing a lot of these fan favorite Pokemon, and it seems like these Pokemon are coming in the Mega Evolution era. Next up, we get to probably one of the sets I'm looking forward to the most, and that is Radiant Ruby Shining Sapphire. Now, this is potentially going to be a Black Bolt White Flare type set, so it's going to be kind of a set for an entire generation, an entire era, and in this case it's going to be Gen 3, the Hoenn region, and of course we're going to have a Groudon and a Kyogre, and then most likely a Blaziken as well, right? We could even see the return of Gold Stars, maybe, you know, a Torchic, Mudkip, Trico, Gold Star. We could also see shiny Pokemon, right? Because Radiant, right, is basically a synonym for shiny. Shining, of course, is shiny. So we could see maybe even all of these Hoenn Pokemon in shiny form, right? We could see a Rayquaza because this is also a Gen 3 Pokemon, maybe a shiny Rayquaza, maybe a shiny Gardevoir, and then a Salamence as well. Black Bolt White Flare obviously isn't everyone's cup of tea because more than anything, it's Gen 5, right? It's a generation that not a lot of people resonate with, but Radiant Ruby Shining Sapphire, this is Gen 3. Most people, I would say, are a fan of Gen 3, and this is going to be very nostalgic for a lot of people, including me. So I definitely think that Radiant Ruby Shining Sapphire, if this is in fact a real set that is coming, this is going to be huge, and it's going to do better than Black Bolt White Flare. And last but not least, we're not done yet. 2026 is going to bring us the 30th anniversary set, which is going to be called Eternals. In the 20th anniversary, we had a set called Generations. In the 25th anniversary, of course, we had Celebrations, and the 30th anniversary, Eternals. I think it just makes sense. And speculating on which Pokemon are going to be included in Eternals, you can pretty much bet that we're probably going to have the 3 starters, right? We're going to have a Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. We've had that for Generations, and we had that in Celebrations. I think they're going to bring back the trend and put it in Eternals as well. We're probably going to have a Pikachu as well, right? It seems like all of these anniversary sets are going to include a lot of the popular Gen 1 Pokemon, but I think that Eternals is going to be the best anniversary set we've had so far, because Generations was okay, right? We had the Radiant collection, you know, not a bad set at all. It's very expensive nowadays just because it's pretty scarce, but back then it honestly wasn't that well received, right? I remember walking into Target back then in 2016, and I would see the Generation sets sitting on shelves, right? I would see it everywhere. I would see it discounted, right? I would see those mythical collections discounted for like $10 each. It really wasn't a popular set at all. And Celebrations kind of got that same treatment as well, right? It was very hyped at first, but then when it came out and when these giant stamps came out, a lot of people thought that the cards were ugly with the stamps, and a lot of people didn't like the fact that Celebrations was essentially just a reprint of a lot of the previous cards in other sets. I don't think Pokemon's going to make the same mistake they did with Celebrations for the 30th anniversary set, right? I think they're not going to add a stamp. I don't think they're going to do just plain reprints of older cards. I think they're going to make something more unique, maybe similar to Generations, but add kind of a special illustration rare flair to those cards. Right? I think Eternals is going to be the best anniversary set we've had to date. And in my opinion, if we even get a resemblance of the cards and the sets that I've shown in this video, I think the Mega Evolution era is going to outperform Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon and XY, just based on the sheer amount of chase cards, sheer amount of popular Pokemon. Now obviously this is too early to tell, right? This is a very, very early prediction, but if the cards that we see are indeed, right, a Gengar, Dragonite, Greninja, Lugia, Rayquaza, Gen 3 Pokemon, and the anniversary sets, I can very well see this doing extremely, extremely well. Now, what is my plan, right? What is my plan for these sets? What is my plan for Mega Evolution, for Phantasmal Flames? Well, first and foremost, for the two sets that I've already released, Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames, I think they're too expensive right now because both of these booster boxes are basically near $350, and I am not going to pay that much for a set that has just released, right? The reason I bought Destined Rivals at release was because it was under $250, right? It was around that $230, $240 price range, and that was pretty comfortable for me. Even though in the past I was used to paying maybe $120, $150 for a booster box, I was okay with paying double because I knew how good of a set Destined Rivals was. Now, do I think Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames is better than Destined Rivals? I personally don't think so. I think Destined Rivals is a stronger set than both Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames. But personally, I'm not going to pay more for Mega and for Phantasmal than I did for Destined Rivals. Now, if both of these drop back down, maybe to the 250, maybe 270 range, I'll consider it, right? I'll consider maybe buying a case or two of either one. But as of right now, right, with both of these being well over $300, I just don't think it's worth it, and I think it will be worth it to wait it out a little bit and to see how the market shakes up, because these prices can't stay high forever. Now, I am not part of the MSRP gang, right? People praying and thinking that everything's going to go down and crash down to MSRP. That is not what I am saying. But what I am saying is that I think both of these sets are quite overvalued for how new they are, and I think that they will get reprints, and I think you're going to have a better opportunity to pick these up for a little bit cheaper in the future. However, I am saving my money for these other sets that are coming later on in the block, right? Legendary Dreams, I think I'm going to go pretty heavy into this. Hopefully, I can get it for a pretty affordable price and maybe hit a few restocks. Shadow Storm and Emerald Surge, both of these look very promising. Radiant Ruby Shining Sapphire looks very promising, and of course the 30th anniversary set is probably going to be really good as well. So what I'm personally doing is I am kind of waiting out Mega and Phantasmal, right? I'm going to wait out for maybe potential deals, maybe reprints, right? I'm okay missing out on Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames, but some of these other sets like Legendary Dream, Shadow Storm, Emerald Surge, Radiant Ruby, Eternals, right? These sets I think I'm going to go pretty hard on and try to find deals and maybe get them at release when the booster boxes are still pretty low. So that's my plan, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the Mega Evolution era, and I'll see you guys in the next one.